Hello and welcome back. So today, from now on we're going to be doing something interesting. Basically, we're going to be doing some JavaScript. I know it's not the actual script, so we're actually on section 8, Bootstrap and templates and building your own landing page, which we are actually nearly done with. So it's only a few bits and bobs, but what we're going to do is we're going to leave that for now. We're going to let that simmer, and we're actually going to move on to JavaScript. Why? Well, basically, JavaScript is a lovely language, and why not learn it now rather than learning in 2 weeks' time, or maybe a bit more. So that's the plan. We're going to learn JavaScript, and then we're going to be able to say that not fully learn it, but we're going to be able to say that we know some JavaScript, and possibly what we're going to do is the JavaScript section 11, and straight after that we might move on to advanced JavaScript, and after all of them then we should be able to clearly say that we know, or I know, JavaScript. Well, if you're watching every episode as well, you might know JavaScript as well after the fact. But basically I'm going to try to do the first one first, obviously, and then move on to advanced JavaScript, and that should demonstrate that I'm capable of doing that JavaScript. So anyway, that's the plan. So first of all, let's start with the first video. So basically I'm gonna start going down. I'm gonna try to have a good pace so that you can get through it quite quickly and have the knowledge of JavaScript quickly, I guess. So yeah, enough of that. Let me start. I think I will watch the first two videos together, and then afterwards I will report back to you, and then we're going to move on to the next one. I think I'm going to try to do quite a lot today because I have a day off, and I might as well try to cram in as much as I can. So fun things. Let's get going. See you in a bit. Okay, welcome back. So we have done the first two videos. Amazing. So what have we learned? Well, first of all, JavaScript. Lovely language. So it's language like CSS, HTML. It's a language form, and what it is the actual action of these websites. So any actions you do, it's basically through JavaScript. So that's why it's really important, and all sorts of industries and areas use it. Even for instance, like web apps. You can fly drones with it. You can do all sorts of things basically, and obviously it might not be really specific to drone software or something, but obviously there's a possibility for you to progress that way. So it's quite interesting how with one language you can do all sorts of things. So that's why I'm going to be excited to learn it. So basically this was just the introduction and what it was. So now we're actually going to be making our first JavaScript code. So that should be fun. I'll get on with that and see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back. So, this was a bit complex. Well, not too much, but basically what we have done is we've just opened a web browser, just a new tab, and inside of it we went into the developer tools and the console. So apparently, through the console is where you actually have or like do things with JavaScript. So basically, what we have is we have some experiments that we have done. So for instance, let me increase the size of this, zoom in a bit more. So for instance, we have 3 plus 4 and it gives us an answer of 7, which means that this is actually JavaScript. So this is just an easy way of doing JavaScript. So then we have 3 times 4, 12, 20 divided by 5, which is 4, and then we can do brackets, so we can do things at a time basically. So 3 plus 5, and then times by 2, 16, and then we can actually add words, like kind of like print the words out. So we have hi, and then these quotation marks are required for you to actually put words down, and then we can use double or single quotation marks, and we can add 2 words together, and then we can combine the double brackets and single brackets to create something like this. Isn't this cool? But then if we use the same sort of bracket for both of them, you see the computer thinks, or the JavaScript thinks, that we're only doing isn't as one section, because the apostrophe makes it look like we just want that part, which obviously we don't. We want to print the whole thing. So to avoid this, we can use this sign to basically tell the JavaScript to ignore what's going to come afterwards, and we don't want that to be an actual command. We just want it to exist. So that's the way to solve that. And then we can have like characters and numbers. So this is where it becomes quite complex. So basically here there can be things. Oh, you want this as a number, and then you want this like as a character, and then you want this as a number. So we're just gonna plonk it together. But then, for instance, for some reason, here it thinks, oh, you have a 10, and then we have a minus, which means you actually want to probably take it away as a number, so it actually gives you the result. And then we can do the same thing with words. So here we added them, and that worked out fine. But then if we wanted to take away, it's telling us that it's not a number. So from my deduction, negatives only work with numbers, and positives only seem to work with numbers, like just numbers by themselves, and so negatives don't work with words, even if it's they don't work with words. They work with numbers, even if they are a character as a number and a number. But positives only work as words and numbers, but not character and number, as it doesn't give you an actual mathematical result. Then we have true, false, and then we have is it parentheses? It's like just like which one's greater than each other. So you can have 3 is greater than 2, true, and then we have 5 is greater than 8, which is false. And then I assume we can do 5 equals 5. Nope, because we have to do 3 equals signs, and that's the way of doing it for some reason, which we will be taught afterwards. So basically we can also do a 3 is smaller than or equal to 5, or 5 is greater than or equal to 7. But we actually have to have the, from just experimenting, we have to have the greater than sign before the actual equal sign. And then lastly we have a 4 is not, so the exclamation mark means it's not the actual thing. It's not equal to 4, but it is, so it's a false. So basically a bit complex, but that was it. So right now we have already done 3 parts. So the main part was obviously this actual video, but in the next part we'll learn even more. So should be fun. This was a bit, you know, brain effective with the last part, but yeah, it was fun. So let's keep going. See you in the next episode. Bye.